Hey, Nate Ross here with my friend Mark Montemayor, who is the executive pastor at Real Life Church here in Orlando, Florida. And Mark, thanks so much for making time to talk with us. You know, part of this whole thing of the Spire conference and the network is that we get to learn from one another. And since we have you here, I would love just to pick your brain on this. You not only lead the staff in the day-to-day there at Real Life, you guys, how many campuses now?
7.
So you got 7 campuses across Central Florida. You got a lot of moving parts and pieces. You got a lot of teams to lead, and you coach and you lead other pastors and leaders across the country. I'm just going to ask one question. What is the most common missed thing in leadership with the senior pastor and the teams within churches that you see? Where do we just miss it? What was maybe the most common way that the leader misses it in today's church?
I think they're looking for love in all the wrong places. I mean, I say that tongue in cheek, but the reality is they're looking for solutions. We can unpack that on a bunch of levels, because in some cases leaders are looking for affirmation in the wrong places. But like my answer was more in the context of they're looking for solutions. They're looking for some kind of magic pill or magic seed that's going to solve whatever problem's in front of them. And then if I could just have that, then everything would be great. And I think it's the pursuit of that magic bullet that's going to solve everything. That is probably if I had to narrow it all into one thing, that would be it.
So what happens, what do you see? So we pursue that, we're going to get the silver bullet. Once we get that, everything's going to change. What is the unintentional consequence that you see teams go through, that you see start happening in the organization, start happening in the lives of the teams and the leaders? What are some of the unintentional consequences that come up?
Well, one, that they just lose a sense of stability because they're chasing the latest thing. Yeah. It's, that bullet didn't work, so it must be a different bullet that we need. And and then I think the other side of that is they kind of become disillusioned by the idea that, okay, so none of this stuff works, we're different. And because we're different, then we can't really accept wisdom or understanding or ideas from the outside, because they just don't know what it's like here in my town and in my church. And both of those things, that's kind of a false dichotomy. There are no magic bullets, and your church isn't so special that ideas from other places won't help.
Yeah.
And that's the code, I think, that's got to get cracked. And it becomes, on some level, you've got to be rooted enough in your own church to know it. You got to understand your own soil before you're going to get anything to grow there. At the same time, if you're never reaching out and trying to figure out what's going on and what other ideas might work in your context and how you might need to nuance them so that they do work in your context, then you're going to miss that potential too. So I think it's kind of that healthy blend of being plugged in enough to what you're doing that you really do know it, but then also being plugged in enough to what God's doing everywhere to understand what opportunities you have to bring back home a potential that you're not realizing that other people have figured out, and not being too proud to pursue that.
Yeah, I love it. I think for us, that's our heart with Spire. That's what we want to do. We want to be people who love our local community well, and have enough humility to go, we don't know everything.
Yeah.
And we have more to learn. I think, Mark, that's what's made you such an influential leader in our movement and in so many churches, is your willingness to step in, to learn, to hold things loosely, and to go, God, we just want to pursue what you have for us. And we want to invite you. Mark's going to be there. He'll be a great person to learn from, and we have something to learn from you. So make sure you're there at the Spire Gathering, October 8th through the 10th, here in Orlando at the World Marriott Center. Can't wait to learn from you.